Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. West Santa Clara, and all the folks who want to know what's happening on the west side of town. I'm John Casey, your host. Organizational item first. I have trouble keeping up with some of the events going on in town, so I'm going to look for a more proactive way to get you that information so you don't get it on Friday afternoon when the event's half over. Moving into the police report, the second night of the Metallica concert, the 22nd, there were 8 arrests. On the 24th, there was a DUI on Pomeroy Avenue, basically right out front here. On the 24th, we also had a situation where a person had altered their VIN, the vehicle identification number, and Santa Clara took the appropriate action. On the 25th, we had someone threaten another person with a deadly weapon that was not a firearm over on Homestead Road. 26th, they also had a big warrants bust, 8 warrants the guy had. Also on the 26th, there was an assault in the Moonlight Shopping Center, and again, that person was taken into custody. Also on the 26th, there was an assault at the what used to be Motel 6. It's now called Park Place on the El Camino there, and that person was also incarcerated. On the 27th at the Walgreens over here in Flora Vista, they had a guy get arrested for possession of paraphernalia and drugs, and while they had him, they discovered that he had several warrants he hadn't answered to, so he went to jail too. On the 28th, there was a failure to appear arrest on the El Camino. On the 30th, there was another failure to appear arrest on the El Camino. On the 30th, there was also a hit and run over on Sycamore Terrace, almost up to Sunnyvale there. On the 1st, there was a bogus registration found down at San Tomas in the El Camino. On the 2nd, there was a failure to appear, was picked up at the Lucky's there at Lawrence and Homestead. On the 2nd, we also had the soccer game, which netted 16 arrests. It's kind of interesting that Metallica playing 2 nights had less arrests than the soccer game with 1 night. No comments further. Had a domestic violence call on Karen on the 3rd. On the 4th, at the Driftwood Inn over here on the El Camino, they brought a guy in for multiple charges. He had failures to appear, drug charges, violation of court orders. He needed to be taken care of. Also, on the 4th, we had an arrest for drugs on the El Camino. On the 5th, the police were back at the Driftwood Inn. Again, drugs and PCRS violation. Essentially, that's when they let you out before trial. But if you do anything wrong, then that gets revoked. Well, this fellow's on his way to jail. On the 7th, we had domestic violence and kidnapping right on Granada. That fellow was also taken to jail. And then the last one for this one is the 8th at Flora Vista and the El Camino. They had a felon in possession of tear gas and stun gun, both which were illegal, and they took that fellow to jail. On the 5th, DPS, Sunnyvale's Department of Public Safety, DPS was asked to go out to Evelyn and Sunnyvale for a guy who was laying on the sidewalk. They arrived and discovered the guy was in pretty bad shape, so an ambulance was called and they hauled him off. No word on how he's doing now, but the indication is that he didn't get there by himself, so DPS is still investigating that. One last thought on the summer activities. There is a concert series at Mission College up on the north side. There is a concert series at Central Park, and there is summer movies at St. Justin's, the Catholic Church on Homestead there. That's it for this issue. We'll see you next week. Thank you.